Hey guys, girls and whoever else, welcome back to DMAC Kustom's YouTube channel. Dave here. I'm going to be looking at some door gaps today on the old Area 51. Still waiting on a bunch of parts, won't be due until at this stage mid-November, at currently the 23rd of October or something like that. Yeah, so I'm just sort of filling in time doing some of these little jobs that I've been needing doing for a while. Just kind of finishing up some stuff, making it slightly better each time I have another crack at it. So yeah, let's gap it. Yeah, sorry. Also, big thanks to all the new subscribers that have come on lately. Heaps of you guys from the old one of the pages I've been posting stuff to, the 49 to 53 or 54 Chevy Club or Chevy Customs, or one of those pages anyway. I posted some stuff and a whole bunch of you guys came on board to subscribe to my channel, so that's really cool. Thank you, and much appreciate it. So let's get into it anyway. Thanks. Just want to say thanks. Okay, so if you've watched some of the previous episodes and that, you might have heard me mention about how I had to do some work on the door gaps on this door here, but I had a black pen line down there that made it look like the door gap was better than it actually was. So I've already kind of got into this one today and sort of made this gap a little bit better, a little bit an unorthodox way I did this one, which it's probably not the right way, but it seemed to work. Is I just run a tape line down here and basically a big block of steel on the outside and just hammered that back slightly. It seems to have worked reasonably well. It did kind of bulge out in a couple of places here, which then it just took a little bit of dollying back and hammered it back. Also, this door was hanging a little bit low at the back, and now I've managed to get one of the bottom hinge loosened off and jacked it up and pulled it up so these swage lines line up a bit better, and my gap up the top's a little bit more even. Still a little bit open here, but I'm gonna leave that. She was a little tight here. Managed to massage this out in a little bit. It's a little bit of a bulge in here, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. Might just dolly it down a little bit of a knock down and probably push that back up, but we'll have a look and see. These aren't too bad. For some reason there's a little bit of a kick in up here. I don't know whether that's just factory inconsistencies or what. It's a little bit high at the top here as well, so I might be able to just loosen that and push that down with any joy. Over on the other, on the driver's side door, this one actually needs to come down a little bit at the back, which will even out my gap at the back, and here, up here, it'll bring that back into line. And she's a bit tight up here, so once I've dropped that back down, that'll probably open up slightly up in here, and then I'll see what other modifications, massaging I'm going to have to do to get that to open up better in here. Just give a bit of clearance, so once everything's got, you know, however many microns of paint goes on there, probably lots, it doesn't just, first time you shut the door, paint hits paint, knocks it all off sort of thing. So we need a little bit of massaging, a little bit of opening up in a few places. That one sits fairly flush at the moment. This guard's got a little bit of poo in here. Gap's a little bit wide down here, but I've got to do some work on this bottom of the sill part here. I had to cut it open and relieve it and that a while back. And what's the gap like back here? Not too bad here. She's a little snug down the back end. We'll have a better look at that once I drop this door down a little bit. So, but before I get to any of that, this little thing, which is the door stopper from swinging open too much. The one that was in there was broken, so I've just made this up out of some mild steel, whereas I think the original ones are spring steel. So I need to extend this a little bit. It keeps dropping off, so I'm just going to weld a little piece on here and just modify it slightly just so it doesn't drop off this little rollery thing that it goes into. And I'll show you how that works in a wee bit. Alright, so this is my little added on bit. Looks a bit ruggedy, but I just had to add on a little bit out here. I've left some of the weld in there too, just to kind of, I don't know, so the little roller can kind of sit in there. So that seems to work. Well, hopefully this is going to work, because yeah, I managed to break the other one. I was trying to get it to work better, and being hardened sort of spring steel, I snapped it. Not ideal, but this is just a little quick fix. So if it doesn't work, I'll have to try and track down another one of these. Now this door, actually I'll show you. Right, hopefully you can see in here. You can see this door here, I actually had to do a repair in here because this little doohickey had managed to get all crossed up and sideways at some point in this car's life and jammed, and then someone had just gone hoomfa and just tore all this out and bent it all in. So this thing here sits in there like so, and I'm trying to jam my fingers, so that bolts into that little hole there, and so this little hook part here sits on this little roller right there, you see, and then the roller rolls across there and down into there into its happy place. And this whole piece I had to cut it out and build a new one and build some new structure and that underneath it last year to try and fix it. But as you can see, the A-pillar here is still a little bit buffy. It's been torn and welded. I'm going to have to get in here and try and hammer this back and try to flatten it out a bit, so once we get to the painting of the car stage, we can hopefully make it look somewhat nice, because this is kind of visible and I don't want that ugly thing, and I don't want to fill it up with body filler and stuff either. So I might be able to get in behind here and give it a little bit of a smackaroo and pull it forward. If not, I'll have to figure out a way that I can maybe get some leverage in there and hammer it a bit more flush. We'll see what we've got in the way of tooling and that to do that. Anyway, I'll just bolt this thing back in properly and show you how it works proper like. There'll be washers and stuff on here later, but for now I just need to know that it's gonna do what I want it to do. So that's as far as the door will open, which is all good. And then you can see that little thing rolls on that little roller, and then it gets to that thing. This is basically just to stop the door swinging wide open and hitting the front fender and stuff like that, which I should check the clearances of while we're here. Hey, reckon? Yeah, see there, nothing's gonna hit. That's as wide as it can go. She's pretty close on that gap there on the swing, but not bad. Right, now got to undo the top hinge, drop the back of this door down just a little touch, try and get this lining up a bit nicer, get that gap a little bit more and that gap a little bit more, and then see what the actual hard fixed metal gaps are going to be like after that. Okay, I think I need a 9/16. This is a half, this is a 9/16. Now the one of the, hang on, it's about me. One of the trickier, well,
this isn't a tech video or like a how-to video, this is just my observations as I've been working on this car. This setting the hinges and gaps and stuff on this 51, a little bit different to some of the other cars I've had, like the hinges themselves. To be able to slide the hinge back this way towards me at the top, I have to undo these bolts which are tucked in there, so you really have to do all of this when the front fender isn't on the car. But I wanted it back on the car so I could kind of get a feel for how the whole thing was going to fit together. But now the front fender's in the way for my access to those 3 bolts to give me to slacken it off to slide it. I might be able to still get the spanner in there to get to 2 of them, and that might just give me enough, or maybe all 3, to just be able to get it to, it's just like a tiny amount. Just need them loose enough that I can maybe swing on the door and just get it to drop a little bit on this back end here. So that's what I've got to do. I'm going to do that right now. Oh. Wrong way. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. It might be easier if that wasn't in the way, funnily enough. Okay, that should do us. I'll put this back in now. Alright, is that centered? Yep, cool. Right, now go and have a look at the gaps again. Okay, as you just saw, we moved that hinge to get this to line up better. I've left it just a tad high. Actually, she's about bang on now. I thought might have dropped a wee bit. How much movement's that got in it? Seems to be alright, don't think it's going to move. So that's sort of given me a better gap across the top. A little, yeah, that's much better down the front here. That's about the same as the other side. A bit more open at the top here than the bottom, but that could be taken care of with the old, how I set up the bolts at the bottom of there. And this is where the challenge lies. Got quite a nice gap here, but it starts to tighten up as it comes in through here. Though there is a gap, it's not super even. That's kind of about where I want all of it. A little bit more room. What's the gap like at the bottom actually? Yeah, it's just pretty even. That's all good. I just want to open this up, especially right there at the top here where the chrome stainless moulding goes across the top. Good dent. This is where I've got to do some massaging just to get that, open that gap up just a bit, so once we get paint on and stuff, we don't get the likes of that happening if you manage to knock the door out of alignment and it catches or touches or something, but I'm not sure about that. What's going on up here? That'll knock that down. Oh well. Suppose we've got to start hitting it with metal and stuff. Hammers and bits of metal will hit it. Right. Okay. So this is how I did the other side, and it seemed to work okay. Probably not the most ideal, but being that it kind of bulges us out a bit. But then once you seem to hammer it sort of back a little bit, it seemed to work pretty good. The other option I've seen people do is they'll just grind away the edge of the door, and then, but the problem is it's only pretty thin steel, and if I grind away too much it's going to separate the skin from the folded return, this bit here. No, I don't. Then you got to kind of weld it all, and you have to weld all the way down the side of the door, and then you run into heat issues, and I think this is the lesser of two evils for what I'm trying to achieve. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this bit of masking tape to help me figure out where I want my steel to kind of push back to, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Strangely enough, that gap right in the insert there is real not bad. So, but then it gets a bit tight right here. So, check it out. Not me, this. So if you're looking at it straight on here, see the edge of my tape, that's kind of where I want that metal to go back to. It's not much. I think it's going to be achievable. This bit up here is going to be trickier because it's got a little bit more curvy on there. This bit here is all not bad, but this bit here is real tight. That's going to be the trickiest part to get it nice. Maybe put some heavy music on for some heavy hitting, and you guys, I'll decide later on what you get to listen to when I do the edit for this. Probably going to be just some generic YouTube music. Okay, let's get into some hammering. Alrighty, so about 15 minutes. That actually went better than I thought it would. I was thinking that was going to be a real drama. Hey, as you can see, I just gently, patience is key here, you know, like you just can't do a wallop in it. It's gentle. So if it's not going to work, you can tell pretty early on if it starts going out of shape, and you can bring it back. If you can see there now, oh, that's pretty much the door will sit about there. The gap's a lot cleaner, still a little bit tight here, but there's a weird spot weld thing in there. I'll show you. Right here, there's a hard spot, which I don't quite know what it is, so I might just get in there with a grinder and just take that down, because I'm going to have to take it down a bit anyway. It's probably some part of the bracing or whatever in this stuff attached back there, which is stopping me from knocking that back a bit further. But if I get in there with the old power filey finger thing, I might just be able to take that little lump off, and that'll give the appearance of a nicer gap anyway. It's all about appearances, ask the Kardashians. So back to where I was. So like I was saying, a little bit snug there still, but as you come down the door, she's not a bad gap. I haven't got the same gaps all the way around, this beyond my skill level, but I just wanted to have a nice straight line down here, and as close as I could all the way through up the top. That's that door gapped, and the other door gapped. What am I going to do now? Still waiting on parts, but still got to do some gapping stuff on the boot lid and the boot area. Maybe we could start figuring that out. Bonnet and the guards, they're all shimmed, so it'll be in the final fitment for that kind of gets the final tweaking with that. So they weren't modified at all other than the front. Doors were cut obviously, and one door I think is off a different year car, so it fits slightly different to the other door. Could just be a factory thing, who knows. But anyway, I'll show you. See, the inside steel of that door is that way, and this one is that way. At some stage this car's had a door change. Not sure which is the original 51 door. If anyone can tell me the difference between these two in the comments. Not that it matters that much, just out of curiosity. It'd be quite cool to know, like if you've got a 49 and that's a 49 door on the passenger side or the driver's side, or if you've got a 52 even, and that's where the difference lies. I don't know. So
50, 52, 49, whatever. I don't know which doors will fit. But yeah, let us know if you know. If you don't know, then don't worry about it. Right. Well, I'm going to close the door on this exciting episode of Area 51 update from DMAC Kustom's YouTube channel and myself, Dave. Well, thanks for watching as always, much appreciated, and thanks to all the new subscribers that have come on board lately. We've had quite a few lately, which is really, really cool, and some real good positive feedback from some of you guys is really encouraging, so do appreciate it, and try to answer all of those. Well, there's not heaps, like there's been about 4 or 5 to be fair, so I'll try to answer them in that. I guess that's about it. Till next time, peace out.